everybody, I'm Angela and I'm hosting the spoken word section. We have got Kev P. Gilday. Kevin is an award-winning writer and spoken word artist. He is the co-founder of Sonic Youth Events and he is a National Theatre of Scotland breakthrough writer. And he is the Scottish voice of the BBC Writers' Room. He's got 4 published poetry books, including Sad Songs for White Boys, which is published by Spec Books. If you want to know more about Kevin, you can visit his website, www.kevinpgilday.com. Here's our headliner tonight. So he's presenting An Evening with Kevin P. Gilday. It's an intimate set of poetry and chat from his living room.
Hello and welcome to An Evening with me, Kevin P. Gilday. I'm going to be performing an intimate set of poems from right here in my living room directly into yours. So I want you to relax, I want you to chill out, get yourself a wee drink, get yourself your jammies on, get your comfiest cover, rug, wrap yourself up and settle in for a night of spoken word poetry. Now, I was going to find a theme for my work tonight, but actually what I'm going to do is 5 old ones, 5 new ones. That's it. And we're going to just read them, have a wee chat, but mostly we're just going to enjoy being in each other's company and having a bit of art in our lives during this time when we're all feeling a wee bit isolated and a wee bit kind of left out of the world that we're used to inhabit. The one of kind of meeting people and enjoying art and being connected and feeling like we're part of something. So hopefully through the power of the internet, from my house to yours, we'll all get a wee bit connected tonight. How does that sound? Cool. Okay, let me kick off with a wee poem for you. This one's from my book Sad Songs for White Boys, out now on Speculative Books. That won't be the only plug tonight. It might be the first, but it won't be the only one. I'm going to do this poem to kick us off. If you work in the arts, you might feel this very, very acutely, but I think that this feeling actually extends to a lot of us working in different places and different facets of our life. So this is a poem about professional jealousy. It hits me like a binary sledgehammer, ones and zeros to the gut, as there on my social media feed grins another undeserving fuck. A young person, a youth, regaling me with their latest success, and so I grit my teeth, gird my loins, and deliver my largesse. I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. You smug, jammy cunt. What a great opportunity. Don't forget about us when you're famous. I hope you fail or die. I hope you fail and die. I catch sight of my bloated reflection in a greasy spoon window, weather-beaten face framed in grey, and I wonder if the validation of success will catch up with me before I run out of days. But that's no excuse for jumping the queue, for taking the plaudits when it wasn't your turn. Some of us were here before you, some of us are owed a run. And I want you to succeed in living your dreams, I really, truly do. Just not at the expense of me fulfilling mine. Trust me, I need this more than you. It should have been me. My dues were paid when my rent wasn't. Gigs to empty rooms for an empty wallet. I played this game up and down the country, convincing myself that it would get better, when all I got were some hollow compliments and a final reminder letter. I just want to be on a nationwide advert. Is that too much to ask? I could write a haiku about mortgages, a sonnet about personal loans. I just want to be on the telly. Maybe then my family would have some understanding of what it is I actually fucking do. And I find myself wondering, were these people good at sports at school? Are they genetically predisposed, destined for greater things? And I consider that perhaps some of us are born to lose just as some are born to win. Because hard work doesn't always equate to reward. You don't have to look around you to tell. If that was the case in Bangladeshi sweatshop children would live in a palace instead of a cell. But sometimes middle-class confidence trumps working-class graft on the greasy pole of achievement, more than every cursed inbox rejection with the melancholy of a family bereavement. Jealousy will gnaw like a rabid dog, eat you alive from the inside out, leaving you vapid and empty like an Instagram poetry account. But there's no panacea, no magic bullet to make minds and tastes contort. Working so hard, you disappear inside yourself and file a missing persons report. The truth is that not everyone makes it. Fate is as fickle as it is true. You can work every hour to grasp your own genius, but you can't make people fucking like you. Thank you very much. So there we go, that's a wee start for us there, some professional jealousy. As I said, I'm Kevin P. Gilday, and I am your headliner this evening at the Southside Fringe, part of this amazing night of spoken word. Thank you very much to the Southside Fringe for having me. I done my very first hour-long show at the Southside Fringe many years ago, and I was also always very grateful that they gave me the space to do that, and they gave me the kind of the backing and the credibility of putting it on at their festival, and it ended up becoming kind of the start of a big step in my career and becoming something really massive after that. So I'm always very grateful to the Southside Fringe for giving me that opportunity, and it's lovely to be back even in this digital realm, because I know all the great kind of patrons and all the great punters at the Southside Fringe will be watching. So I hope you're all having a nice night and you're all kind of chilled out and on your couch and recreating the buzz of a live gig as much as possible. What I'm saying is, I hope you've got some booze or a cup of tea. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to be doing some old stuff and some new stuff. So here's a new piece. I wanted to do this early on because I feel like it's important to address where we are as a society, as a civilization, as a fucking race, in terms of coronavirus, in terms of the kind of piece of history that we're living through right now. I didn't want to write a whole set about it, but I thought I might as well address it and write a poem anyway. So here's a new piece kind of dealing with that, hopefully from an optimistic point of view. I hope some of you are feeling some of that optimism seeping in as the days get a wee bit longer and it gets a wee bit lighter outside. So yeah, this is the new normal system update 2.0. Your home is a city, awash with districts. Learn each one intimately. There is a beach in the bedroom, a waterfall in the toilet. Natural wonders abound. Active imagination sold separately. The world is a 5-mile radius from your favourite chair. Your neighbourhood is a country travelled to the furthest flung reaches of 2 streets away. This is where community resides, dormant, waiting for you. Food is no longer fuel. It is now a meditation, a hapless science, the binding of ingredients with love. Our meals are slow, deliberate. Cooked in the warmth of our homes, there is no need for fast or disposable when time is not intruding. For full details, refer to section B, banana bread. A smartphone is a life raft with all your friends inside. On the days when you are buffeted by waves of loneliness, open it up and talk to the world. Cling to it in stormy seas and pray to reach land. The park is a new meeting place, and a new yoga studio, and a new creche, and a new pub. The park is basically the new everything. Please follow maintenance instructions closely and with care. Anger is your fuel now. The system has crashed and needs updating. In this version of normal, strangers are family. Neighbours are long forgotten cousins reunited at the smoky end of the function hall. It's time to get reacquainted. There's work to be done. Thank you. There we go. That's it. I promise I won't go on about it all night because I feel like we need a wee break from what's happening in the world and what's happening outside our windows. And a night of art, a night of poetry is actually one of the best ways to give your brain a wee holiday. And you can kind of take a wee journey in each one of these poems and go somewhere else and just, chill out and listen to my voice and just, relax and take a wee break from all the fucking pressure and all the fucking, anxiety that's existing in the world just now. Hopefully that's the case anyway. So I'm going to do another wee poem from you, from Sad Songs for White Boys. The reason I'll be doing so many from this book is because it's kind of a greatest hits. It's like the kind of best of so far, my first kind of 10 years of writing and producing stuff, and it's all collected in this book. So here's another piece from it. This is about how I hate all other poets, which if you've ever been to a poetry night, you'll surely agree with. This is I've fallen out of love with poetry. I've fallen out of love with poetry. It's no me, it's you. That spark has gone wandering amidst countless painful open mics, anxiety-inducing slams, click politics and the complete absence of ever being paid. I've fallen out of love with poetry because of your fucking whiny voices and earnest subject matter, contrivedly crafted for universal agreement. I'm glad we sorted out that racism is bad. I was a wee bit sketchy before you took the mic. I've fallen out of love with poetry, with your mid-Atlantic inflections and borrowed speech patterns, because you all learn to slam from Americans on YouTube instead of saying what you feel. I've fallen out of love with poetry because your body issues are not important. Unlike mine. Of course you're an outsider. You read fucking poetry. This is a club for weirdos. This much we know. I've fallen out of love with poetry because you write too many love poems and they don't come easily to me. Grand metaphors like quixotic sculpture shone from the marble of your affections or something. I've fallen out of love with poetry because rhyming is seen as uncool, despite it being a useful linguistic tool, a literary device taught to kids at school. Yeah, I stand up here like a mawkish ghoul cause my poetic preference marks me out as a fool or something. I've fallen out of love with poetry because these young people are actually quite good. And maybe there's no room for a grown man's weary compositions and chronic oversharing. I've fallen out of love with poetry because it's fallen out of love with me. Thank you. Oh, always nice to share that. Always nice to go and kind of share some older work and some classic stuff that I know people like. And if you've seen me before, you've probably heard that one in various different guises. So I hope you enjoyed it again, digitally, in your screen, in your home. Me invading your personal space with a glass of wine. A nice one at that. Okay, what have we got now? Oh, there's a new piece that I'd really love to share with you. Just kind of getting to grips with this one and the rhythm of it and the pace of it. But I'm really happy with it, and I'm happy with the kind of the message behind it and the kind of forcefulness. And hopefully you enjoy it too. I won't give it a big intro because I feel like hopefully it's self-explanatory. It's called Mediocre White Man Blues. I hear them like a military choir, singing a stereophonics chorus, an army of stale pasty men put on this earth to bore us. Old Spice is a chosen scent, dick pics as pick-up lines, even Stevie fucking Wonder could read the warning signs, stinking of desperation, reeking of booze. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I've got the mediocre white man blues. It's up to me to pick and choose. I've got the mediocre white man blues. There's a wanky student at the party, not embarrassed to show it. The poor fucker's read Bukowski and he wants you to know it. Starts quoting lines of Joyce like he's the first cunt ever reading them. If he starts on the Dostoevsky, I'm sticking the fucking heat in him. A conversational turning of the screws. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I got the mediocre white man blues. I got the mediocre white man blues. They got to read no social cues. I got the mediocre white man blues. Dissecting five-a-sides like it's the World Cup final. I much prefer their earlier stuff and it sounds better on vinyl. Tell us about your fitness regime, so unrelentingly grim. Who needs a personality when you've got the gym? Slip your trainer socks into your boat and shoes. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I got the mediocre white man blues. I got the mediocre white man blues. No need to hide my problematic views. I got the mediocre white man blues. You can't say anything nowadays. You tweet to your 10 followers. No irony to be spared amongst your clan of keyboard warriors. This isn't a free speech issue. There's no overflowing queue. You've not been deplatformed. Just no cunt wants to book you. Who let this wank on the 10 o'clock news? I got the mediocre white man blues. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I get the mediocre white man blues. Pictan Rand is my chosen muse. I get the mediocre white man blues. All the opportunity that was promised has been stolen from me. Served up silver platter style with a diverse snowflake decree. The future I was entitled to has been taken by those who want it. My story is old, been told, shoved down throats till we vomit. Maybe I need to admit I'm responsible for the spew because I'm a mediocre white man too. I've got the mediocre white man blues. I get the mediocre white man blues. Nothing left to learn, nothing left to lose. I've got the mediocre white man blues. Cheers. Ooh. I'm going to enjoy doing that one live when we're back to doing gigs with audiences again. I think that's going to be really fun. As I said, thank you very much to Southside Fringe for having me. Thanks for allowing me to do this, which I basically pitched. I just said, can I do just a chilled out wee night of poetry from my living room? And they were like, yeah, go for it. So here we are. I very much hope you are enjoying it at home. Got another poem for you now. Oh, We'll keep it political, shall we? This is a poem. I'm trying to not do a kind of political rant. Try to hold it in, try to hold it back. But I fucking hate the bastards. Absolutely despise the cunts. And this is a poem about that. This is a poem about knowing your enemy. This is how to spot a Dory. If you don't say, cheers mate, when you get off the bus, then you're probably a Tory. If you don't watch The Simpsons at 6 o'clock, then you're probably a Tory. If you've never been sick at the Pleasure Beach in Blackpool, then you're probably a Tory. If you've never had to use a Coinstar machine to buy a bottle of wine, then you are probably a Tory. If you're not sure what football team you support, then you're probably a Tory. If you are unsure of the etiquette in regards to your granny being on a bus, then you're probably a Tory. If you didn't have a party when Thatcher died, then you're probably a Tory. If you don't shout, get it right up you old cunt, every time the Queen is on the telly, then you are probably a Tory. If you don't lament the loss of gingy bottles as a self-contained economic currency, then you are probably a Tory. If you get someone else to iron your clothes, in fact, if you even iron your clothes, then you are probably a Tory. But if you think that wealth trickles down, that doctors are overpaid, that immigration is eroding the country, that privatisation is the key, that poverty is a myth, then you are definitely a fucking Tory. Cheers. Sometimes we need to get out of our system, don't we? Whew. It's lucky I can write poems, isn't it? It's lucky I can create art to let my anger about the fucking clowns that are running this country out rather than buying a shotgun, which would be a more efficient means of expressing myself sometimes, I feel. I hope the Southside Fringe doesn't have any policies about censoring any kind of potentially libelous chat, but here we are. Who cares? Let's go for it. Okay, another new poem? Yeah, another new poem. Let's do this one. So, the pubs are still closed. They've been closed for a while. When they were opened, I would find myself from time to time in one of those famous establishments that I know there is one in the south side, the Weatherspoons. The Weatherspoons is such a weird place. Do you know what I mean? Just this kind of Soviet soup kitchen turned into a pub. And I've always had really mixed feelings about it because it's such a great mixing place for different people and particularly for kind of poor kind of working class people to kind of mix and enjoy and to have a place to go which isn't too expensive, but also it's run by a fucking mad bastard, and there's a lot of kind of practices that I think are quite kind of dangerous and maybe not healthy for our local communities. Anyway, this is all to say this is a poem about Weatherspoons, or more specifically about some of the guys I would see really early in the morning in Weatherspoons. If I was on tour, and I'm in a strange city, I'm in fucking Preston, and I need to get some breakfast before I get on the train to go to the next gig, I would jump into a Wetherspoons, have a breakfast, and what I would see is some guys already getting on it quite early in the morning, and I'd kind of wonder what their story was and who they were and what had kind of taken them to this place. And this is sort of what this poem is about. It's called "The Old Men in Wetherspoons Are Angry About the Politics." A Union Jack flops flaccidly, heralding the best of British ales, the sterile silence broken only by the rustle of a tabloid, Sun, Star, Mail. A bedraggled buffet of a breakfast club, reserved for the dedicated morning shift. Pints are sipped while lines are reviewed, studiously ignoring the stench of pish. The old men in Wetherspoons are angry about the politics. Another migrant boat, another pointless vote. Not that anyone thought to ask them. They may as well be ghosts. Used to work every day, trade sweat for respect, a modest check, but those days are gone, left with 2 dodgy knees and a crick in the neck. And this theme park pub harks back. A reconstruction of an ideal, distorted through golden arch economics, pints served with a fast food feel. But it's open early for business, and everyone keeps to themselves. The telly is tuned to Sky Sports News as the atmosphere compels. This is it, born to shit, a plastic scrappy paw formless wit. We're exiled and reviled, just under thick leather, an unwanted stepchild. The old men in Wetherspoons are angry about the politics, worked all their days just to get fuck all, while the paper said some immigrant prick gets a free smartphone to call home, to whatever shithole country he sailed to escape. All those years of paying taxes were surely a mistake. How can they fail to feel that all power has been lost when control doesn't reside in calloused hands when ballot slips are crossed? So the pub becomes a dominion, a jurisdiction marked out in empties, delineated by the 8-bit wail of the puggy machine devouring a wallet of crisp 20s. The old men in Wetherspoons are angry about the politics, coached in their rage from every angle, trained to be incensed at the latest scandal. What opinion is yours to disentangle when the papers scream blue murder and the TV edits the truth? The algorithm recommends conspiracy theories while the radio phone-in carries the proof. This is it, born to shit. No trust for you feckless hypocrites. We're exiled and reviled, ignored by a cabal of wanton paedophiles. The old men in Wetherspoons are angry about the politics, and I find it hard to blame them. An army of amateur analysts with a politics degree lining up to shame them. Have you ever felt forgotten? Like the world has left you behind? Thursday night means curry club. Debit card declined. Thank you. Ooh. Thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I was like, oh, let's have a nice chilled out night of poetry, and then I'm just shouting the word paedophiles at you in your own home. I apologise for that. But we need to express ourselves. We need to let it out in some way, don't we? Okay. So I like to do a wee poem now about mental health, actually, because I feel like, I said I wouldn't touch it again, just very briefly, I feel like we're all kind of struggling with mental health just now, And how the fuck would we not be? Do you know what I mean? Because of the world we're living in and everything that's happening, you know. But we can kind of control it, and we can think about it, and we can deal with it. But it is hard work, and it's hard going to kind of be in that place and, you know, have this constant pressure in our lives. So this is a little poem about mental health, about expressing ourselves, expressing the mental health kind of issues that we've got. Even if it's through code, even if it's through metaphor, whenever I'm in a place of kind of dealing with depression or dealing with anxiety, it's very hard to say it out loud. What we say instead is maybe a little code word, maybe a little kind of I don't know, yeah, like a code that makes other people know that we are suffering, but we can't say it out loud just yet. What I always say to people is, kind of feels like I'm underwater today. And this is a poem about feeling like you're underwater. This is Deep Sea Diver. I'm a deep sea diver, always close to water. Evening landlocked bliss, anticipating maritime slaughter. Wherever I go, I'm prepared. An oxygen tank on my back. A lot of weight to lug around though, just in case of an attack. Whispering my mantra, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown. I'm a deep sea diver with salt water invading my senses. My feet feel the security of dry land while the waves atrophy my defences. The brain degrades to murk. I can't see more than an hour ahead. So I strap on my trusty snorkel and dive back into bed, whispering my mantra, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown. I'm a deep sea diver. I can spend weeks in my iron lung, with no company but detachment and my crucified tongue. Indifferent to promoted emotions, life with the contrast faded out. Sepia tinged on memories, the exact colour of doubt. Whispering my mantra, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown, please don't drown. I'm a deep sea diver, I'm a deep sea cunt, I'm a deep sea fuck, I'm a deep sea failure, I'm a deep sea nothing, I'm a deep sea nothing, I'm a deep sea nothing, I'm a deep sea nothing. With a tank of purified nihilism, immersed in an ocean of solipsism, I limply embrace the endless abyss, sink meekly between the gaping schism. I'm a deep sea diver. Ambient pressure begins to build. 790 pounds per square inch, the most man's ever felt, and still went unfulfilled. I'm a deep sea diver, crushed alive by seas of renown, after a lifetime of keeping my head above water. I think this time I'm going to drown. Thank you. Yeah, I hope that resonated with some people. I hope that made some sense and maybe helped you where you are just now, because we're all going through it together. Apart from the Tories, obviously, who are not going through it, but everybody else, all the normal people, we're all going through it together. And yeah, I hope that was useful in some way. Okay, another new one for you. This one's about I don't want to say cancel culture, because I feel like cancel culture isn't really a thing. It's kind of made up, and it's a kind of right-wing media thing to make us kind of feel like political correctness has gone mad and all that shit. But it's about the way we are not forgiving people, that we're kind of cancelling not only their careers, but we're cancelling forgiveness, we're cancelling understanding. We're cancelling, the way that we look at someone with empathy. And that's quite disturbing to me, and I feel like it's easy to do that, and we're doing it as a self-defense mechanism, but actually it's harder to understand and to listen, but it makes a lot more sense in the long run. So yeah, here's a wee poem about that. It's called In the Future, Everyone Will Be Cancelled for 15 Minutes. The purity test must be passed. Your history ransacked for muck. Context is relative if you simply don't give a fuck. Your fave is problematic, and so is your love. Look, I don't make the rules, okay, they're decreed from above. Your mask slipped once. Now you've forfeited your humanity, and there's a digital mob at the door testing the edges of your sanity. The rules of engagement pushed to their limits. In the future, everyone will be cancelled for 15 minutes. Nuance is cancelled. Forgiveness is cancelled. Perspective is cancelled. Your old da is cancelled. Listening is cancelled. Understanding is cancelled. Debate is cancelled. The ScotRail service is cancelled. Perfection attained through fear. Here's the line, stick to it. Say it aloud, then toe it. Repeat it like a holy writ. Expectations have been set at a frankly unachievable height. Still, failure will not be tolerated when we've outlined what is right. Though the memo was internal and never distributed widely, it's up to you to stay informed and to regurgitate blindly. Feel the warm glow of superiority. Let it lift your waning spirits. In the future, everyone will be cancelled for 15 minutes. Subtlety is cancelled. Respect is cancelled. Dissent is cancelled. Your shitty poetry is cancelled. Opinion is cancelled. Opposition is cancelled. Deviation is cancelled. Your existence is cancelled. But I'm so scared I'll get it wrong. Rouse a skeleton to emerge walking. From the dark recesses of my wardrobe, let the past do all the talking. And there won't be any defence, because a bluebird doesn't listen. Just a public defenestration and an unyielding presupposition. But I am part of the problem. Preach understanding while holding the whip. Hope others' misdemeanours will deflect as I maintain my tenuous grip. We need patience, not express exile. Change powered by the love within it. Or in the future, everyone will be cancelled for 15 minutes. Thanks. Oh, thank you very much for that. Okay. What am I going to do now? Oh, another new one. This one is actually from this new book. It's called The Scribbles Union, Volume 1. So the Scribbles Union is a kind of digital writing group and kind of workshop that I set up during lockdown to kind of get people connected and kind of, get people meeting each other and talking and stop feeling isolated. And it's became a massive thing. It's became a great kind of community of writers from all over the UK and actually all over the world. And after nearly a year of doing these classes, we made this anthology which collects all the kind of poems from everyone in the groups. So you can buy your copy online on Amazon. So if you just search the Scribbles Union, it'll come up there. We actually hit number 7 on the poetry chart for best-selling poetry books on Amazon. So it's been a great success, and it'd be great if you checked it out. If you want to get a copy, if you want to check out some brand new poets that you'll never have heard of before, then this is the place to do it. The Scribbles Union, Volume 1. So here's the poem that I contributed to the book. It's called The Free Market Stole My Humanity, and I want it fucking back. This poem is a bomb. Not a metaphorical one, an actual fucking bomb. A searing Molotov cocktail of language and discontent. My blistering anger, the righteous accelerant that will ignite my syntax and singe that single stray grey hair on your middle class eyebrows. This poem is a protest song, chanted through the letterbox of your semi-detached. An implacable cacophony of resistance beaten into brilliant existence on my granny's pots and pans. A syncopated rhythm of generational poverty deposited in the ivory towers of your inner cochlea like a mail-order wine club. This poem is a battered minibus, chartered to pick up your wayward children from their 10 grand a year private school. But I have rerouted the sat-nav, retuned the Radio 1 caterwaul and replaced it with the complete works of Billy Bragg. Plied your sheltered offspring with 10 times the recommended daily allowance of refined sugar, which is the worst kind, and set them loose to make new friends in a multicultural neighbourhood, blazerless. This poem is a sledgehammer, a truculent tool embedded in the windscreen of your BMW like a sundial, designed to destroy the collective front door of every crummy buy-to-let landlord currently lining their pockets with our labour. Your sinuous end of tenancy itinerary will record my metaphors squatting amongst the tired furniture, on the damp affected walls, in the dark recesses of the hall cupboard, a permanent resident until you address the elephantine scandal in the rented room. This poem is a party crasher, an uninvited drifter come to spill uncomfortable truths on your good rug and slip Bella Ciao into your carefully curated party playlist, inflicting a pre-made PowerPoint presentation on any wanton ignoramus who dares utter that they just don't do politics. It will piss in the close of unchecked capital. It will shit in the kettle of big business, and it will redistribute the fridge full of cans equally. This poem is a mirror, an echo of my desires. Imprinted in coke-smeared reflection, it invokes a latent image, an animated tableau of an easy life that makes my heart leap with lust. Pieces falling into place with simple grace like a children's jigsaw. But would I still be driven to burn this system to the ground if it benefited me? Is my anger formed from injustice or jealousy? This poem is a love poem. Not a red, red rose, but an evergreen affection for the unending resilience of those obstinate disruptors, digging deep wells of change in the dogmatic concrete of life, creating new capacity for compassion and infinitesimal acts of kindness, and bartering precious time to improve the lot of a stranger. This is the passion required to reshape the world. A blueprint sketched with a bookie's pen on the reverse of this poem. Thank you. Okay. I've got one more for you and then I'm heading off, but I just want to say a big thank you for everyone that's joined us tonight and joined this little evening with myself, Kevin P. Gilday. If you've enjoyed the work, then you can read all about me on my website. It's www.kevinpgilday.com, and there you'll see a link to the shop where you can buy all these books, and you can also buy CDs and records and lots of other great things that you don't really need but will make you feel a little better about your existence. So yeah, you can also follow me in all the usual places: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to know what I've had for dinner, that is the place to go and check it out. And also I run Sonic Youth, which is a kind of spoken word house party, a literary rave, and we put on events every month, 2 events a month. You can sign up to our Patreon and watch those events every fortnight, as well as listen to our podcasts and lots of other great stuff. That's the organisation I run with another great poet called Kat Hepburn. Please check out her work as well and check out Sonnet Youth. So here we go. This is the last poem of this evening. A poem about that wee moment, that wee uncomfortable moment when a guy comes round to your house to fix your boiler and you're not really sure what to say to him. There's a workie in my house. He's fixing the boiler or something. I'm not too sure. But he wears overalls and boots, just like my dad. There's a workie in my house. And I should probably offer him tea. But that seems offensive. When did we decide that all workies like tea? There's a workie in my house. And I'm watching him work in silence. It got really weird over a minute ago. There's a workie in my house. And he's about my age, so he should really know the score. Follow the rules, mate. Ask me if I saw the game. If I saw the game last night, well, that team was shite, and the manager will soon be on his way. They spent millions on that guy, and all he does is fucking dive. And at least then, I'd have something to say. There's a workie in my house, and I wonder if he judges wallpaper or furniture. Probably no. I've seen worse than mine. There's a workie in my house, and he knows all about it. Pipes and stuff. But all I can do is write bad poetry. There's a workie in my house, and I really shouldn't feel this level of angst, existential or otherwise, because he does something useful, just like my dad. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have been Kevin P. Gilday. Thank you for spending your evening with me. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much to the Southside Fringe, and I'll see you all again, hopefully in real life, very, very soon. Cheers.